Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and boy am I thrilled to talk to you about my experience playing Evenfall. This is that medium weight strategy game that uses cards, multifunction cards. You've also got worker placement with mages or witches and elders, two different types of worker placement. Love that idea. And it's also set in this really rich universe and beautiful artwork. So in this game, players are essentially controlling a clan, and yes, there's turmoil, and you are trying to, ascend the throne inside of this story world. Now, I really was kind of like, a little stale on witches. We've had a lot of witches lately. I don't know what's going on, but I was like, maybe this is just overdone. Nope, I really enjoyed it. The mechanics had paired so well with that theme, and the artwork is stunning in this. I was really won over. So I want to give you that overview of what a round looks like, and then I will tell you my favorite features of the game. So this game has 3 rounds, and every round has 4 phases. The very first phase is the scout phase. Every player is simply just going to get all the stuff that they get when they scout. And when you play in the basic game, which is one side of your player character card, which is a dual-layered cardboard card, you will all be gaining the same thing. If you want to regulate that first or second or third experience, especially with new players, and you're going to gain all that stuff. It might include cards, resources, mana, and other stuff. So it's really cool. It's just like you're gaining resources phase. Super fast, everyone does it at the same time. Then you move on to the second phase. This is the action phase. Every player is going to perform one main action, and your turn is going to pass to the left. So everyone's going to take one main action at a time, and while other players are taking their main action, you're of course thinking about your next action. And in this phase, you can do all kinds of things. Discover a place of power, activate your clan token, play a card from your hand, use an action space, and you can also build catalysts. And all of these things you want to do in a particular order because you're vying for similar stuff. And that means that there are cards that are out in the center in these locations where you can place your witches. And that's where you've got these 2 different figures. You have witches, and they can go pretty much anywhere on the board or in your personal location, your kind of built area that you continually add cards to. And then you also have these other figures, they're elders, and they kind of have a slumped hat symbol instead of a pointy hat symbol. And those can go on the bottom row of your cards in your personal play area or in other places if your cards and other actions dictate so. So there are some restricted workers and there are some that are a little bit more flexible, but you only have a certain number of those. So you really have to figure out, where am I placing my workers and which one am I using? And where do I go? Because when you go out to a location to gain a card, you're also essentially putting yourself into the pot for the majority, because at the end of every phase, there's going to be a battle, which is phase 3. Once every player is finished with all of their main actions and have passed, then you move on to that battle phase and you look out and see, how much strength do I have in the top location? And then you resolve each location one at a time. Players have a dial that they can add mana to, and they do it in secret. So there is a blind bid element to this battle feature. I think it's pretty cool though. At the end of your battle, you are simply going to go to the 4th phase, which is round N, and there's going to be some cleanup and some setup for next round. You do this 3 times, and then by the end, you are going to add up your points. Now, there are plenty of ways to earn victory points throughout the game, and you collect those. But the really cool feature of the game, I'm going to say, comes down to your asymmetrical player powers, which are a variety of different things, which I find so fascinating and interesting and balanced. And it's the cards that players are going to play from their hand. So the first type of card is the specialists, and the specialists actually have 2 parts to them. They have a top and a bottom. And so the specialists you can place to the left of your board, and then they give you ongoing bonuses and benefits. And you really want to have specialists, but you also want what's at the bottom. So if you place that and you essentially pay for that and put it underneath your player board, they become council members and have some really cool effect. So you have to kind of choose top or bottom for those specialist cards, and then you're going to have rituals and other cards that go into play on your locations. So you have to first place down a location to the right of your player board, and then you're going to be placing a card from your hand on top of it. So there are all these fascinating steps and stages and choices with the cards and the multi-use cards that is just so fascinating, and I think that's really where the heart of this game is. And the combinations were endless, and when I saw us playing the game, I saw all of us making really interesting choices and having just a ton of fun with how we were combining all the cards that we were getting. I was a little worried about the blind bidding. It's not my favorite mechanism, but because part of the game is asking you to build up your mana, which essentially will cross over into the next round if you have any left over, everyone knows how much mana everyone has, but you're only allowed to bid so much on your dial, and you have only that much mana to bid for on all the locations where you're present. So players have to essentially say, which place am I really going to go in hard to win? Because when you win, you also gain a token, and that token goes onto one of your cards, and it multiplies the victory point scoring for that particular card. So there are reasons to want to go for it. You're also going to gain certain benefits based on the threshold of mana that you have spent at every single location. So there's some really, really lovely choices here. I think Evenfall is a fantastically lovely, beautiful, smart, clever game that's going to ask players to really manage their hand. So if you like card games that really require multiple steps of thinking and planning ahead, worker placement, which really asks you to prioritize your actions, and if you're really interested in that asymmetrical player board to see really just how your strategy changes with your new clan member card, this is your game. And I will say you will not be disappointed. Again, with the artwork, I cannot get enough of this. This is also my favorite color palette. One thing I've realized over the years of decorating and collecting art and doing things in my house is that I really like yellows and golds. That's my color. And so when I saw this and when I look at this board, I just see so much of that rich kind of harvest yellow gold colors, and it just warms me. It makes me so happy. I think this is just a really dynamite game. Nice scale from 1 to 4. I haven't played the solo, but I have played the other levels, and the locations and the boards are going to adjust for the amount of players to really keep that, tight competition and strategy present as the heart of Evenfall. So can't say enough good things about this game, and I was a little kind of wary at first, again, of the theme, but it really won me over. It just has a solid core to it that I find I want to come back to, and I want to keep playing, and I want to keep trying at. So if you're looking for this game, this is it for you. Honestly, dynamite. All right, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye.